There is one thing that your sales team can do that can absolutely ruin your business. It has nothing to do with their close rate or how much cash they collect at the close. It has nothing to do with show up rates or how often they're following up. After working with over 1,200 sales teams in the past few years and scaling our own company to 8 figures a year, I've identified that the one area that your sales team can ruin your business is in the handoff. Now, the handoff is a term that I've coined in order to describe the time or the area between when someone is a deal closed, when you've actually collected the cash, to when they have actually started their fulfillment journey. And this is such a small window or a gap that I don't really see many other people talking about it. They're so focused on making sure that they close the deal, and they're so focused on making sure that they get a result that they don't actually identify the gap, the bridge, the handoff between sales and your fulfillment. If your sales team has set improper expectations for your client, or they've delayed letting the fulfillment team know that they've actually closed a deal, or they have collected all of the client's information and all of their pains and their desires and kept it internally for their own information before your fulfillment team even has a chance in order to bring this client world-class results, you are dead in the water. Now, don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you with that. I'm actually gonna give you 3 very tactical ways that you can implement today in order to make that handoff as smooth as possible. Number 1 is to make it as easy as possible for your sales team to make that handoff. You may be agreeing, if you're a business owner, with those previous points that maybe your sales team, they're not passing the information along or they're not getting to it fast enough, but you have to realize that, whatever goals or KPIs you set to your sales team are irrelevant, because they're always just going to fall back on the systems of your business. And if you don't make it a very smooth and easy way in order for them to make that handoff, and you're relying on them to manually do it every single time, and some people do it this way and some people do it that way, it's very likely not going to happen. For example, inside of our company, Scaling with Systems, we have one key task that every single salesperson knows that they have to do in order to process this client and move them to fulfillment. And if they don't do this, they aren't going to earn commission from this sale. And all of our triggers, in order for us to start serving our client, happens on this one thing. And what that is something that we call the deals closed form. So obviously, as the name implies, whenever our salesperson closes a deal, we have a very standardized form that asks questions like name, email, phone number of the client, what was the pricing, what was the package, what are they looking for, what is their biggest pain points, what is their problems, all of that stuff. And as soon as they submit that, then that goes into our onboarding sequence and goes to our fulfillment team, and we have a bunch of magical automations that happen from there in order to make sure our client gets passed off very smoothly. But the salesperson doesn't need to know what happens all those other areas, because our salespeople are on back-to-back calls from 8 a.m. to usually 6 p.m. So they don't have time to be making introductions over text messages or WhatsApp or Slack. Instead, all they know is that they buffer themselves 5 to 10 minutes after a sales call is over in order to go inside that deals closed form, fill it out and submit it, and they know that they're good to go. And we've standardized the process in order to satisfy our client and onboard them much more smoothly. The second thing is actually a part of that deals closed form, and we call it the explainer video. An explainer video explains to the client success team exactly who this client is, what they were looking for, what were some of their bottlenecks or pain points, what are some of their roadblocks, what are their sticking points, do they have a hard time going through the sales process because they were burned previously, what was their dog's name, what's their wife or husband's name, relevant and sometimes irrelevant information that we can give over to our client success team, so that whenever we make that handoff and the client success team picks up the phone and calls them to welcome them, they already know the majority of the information. And we see this working every single time so well that our clients are just copying our onboarding sequences. But for example, let's say that your internet goes out and you have to call your Wi-Fi company. And so you pick up the phone, you call the Wi-Fi company, you wait on hold for 20 or 30 minutes, and then after you're done waiting on hold for 20 or 30 minutes, you finally speak to somebody, and after giving them all your information, doing passcodes and everything, then you speak to them for 20 minutes, and then they tell you, oh, they can't solve your problem, they need to transfer you over to a different department. So then you wait another 20 minutes, moment, you get transferred over to the different department. And then when you get on that different department, they go, hi, how can I help you today? And they have absolutely no context that you were just waiting for 40 minutes to an hour, and you've already explained yourself over there in that other department, and now you have to redo everything over again. And that seems like it's dramatic, but those are most of the companies that we work with when we're helping them scale. They are in that exact same scenario. They are literally making their clients come in and re-explain everything that they did in the sales process. So your salesperson at the time of the sale has more information about that client and how you're going to serve them than anybody else in the entire company. So utilize that in that handoff for your client success team. So we have just one question, and all they have to do is shoot a 3 to 5 minute Loom video, and we ask our sales team, can you please film the explainer video? And it's 3 to 5 minutes, and it covers all those things I talked about previously. So when we pick up the phone, we can go, hey Bob, I want to welcome you to Scaling the Systems. My name's Joe. We're so excited to help you take your business to $100,000 a month. By the way, I saw that you have a lab. I also have a lab, blah, 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 blah. Boom, just like that, they're connected, and they're wowed at how synergistic your departments are. And my third tactic for you is to only pay your sales reps as your company is receiving the cash from your clients, or even better yet, only pay your sales reps after your clients have made it past, the typical drop-off point for bad fit clients. What I mean by this is that those first two things, having your sales reps, fill out a deals closed form and do the explainer video so that you can have a better transition from sales to client success. But if you're just paying your sales team up front, no matter what happens to that deal afterwards, then they're not really going to be incentivized to make sure that they're closing the right clients, that they're making the handoff as smooth as possible, that they're shooting a great support expectation video. And so they don't really care too much. Not that they're bad people, but you always have to be aware of people's incentives. So instead, what we do at our company is that we only pay our salespeople when we have cash coming in. So if someone works with us and they make 2 payments in order to work with us, they're only going to get paid when they make the first payment. They're going to get paid that percentage, and the second payment when they get that percentage. We're not putting it all up front. In addition to that, if for whatever reason at our company we offer 100% money back guarantee that we're going to grow their business, or we give them all their money back. So if we have to give our client their money back, then that commission gets taken back from the salesperson. Some people might say, oh, it's unfair. Their salesperson, it's not their fault that they took their money back. When you have a really dialed in client success process like we do, we actually know that it was a salesperson because we shouldn't have closed that person in the first place if we weren't able to get them results, which is why we only work with or make an offer to 2 out of 100 people that apply to work with us, because we guarantee our results, and we know if they're this type of person, I know we can bring you results. So our sales team has to understand that as well. And our sales team does, and they enjoy it. They have no problem giving their money back in case it happens because they've learned from that scenario. And for us, it happens once every 6 months. It really rarely happens to us. And even before we offer the money back guarantee, it would happen a lot more frequently when people would ask for refunds because they were just closing the bad deal. So that third tactic is just so that you can make sure you have some insurance, so that even though your salespersons and your sales team's getting all jazzy and they're like, oh, this all makes sense, I'm so excited about this, you can make sure they're incentivized as far as their commissions and compensations are concerned in order to make sure that handoff is as smooth as possible.